A lot going on with military drafts right now. Now, we've already seen a bill with the United States that was passed in the House of Representatives suggesting that there should be an auto draft or a auto registration for those 18 to 26 that passed in the House of Representatives. In addition to that, we're going to be discussing more on the draft here in just a second. The United States today, July the 2nd, 2024, we're hearing is preparing for more war, as we're hearing that the United States has announced 2.3 billion is going to be sent in military assistance to Ukraine as they are preparing more funds to go out to support more war. So that is going on. Now, regarding the draft, and we've heard all this stuff about the United States, we've got 1/10 of the reserves that we had 50 years ago when we last had a draft. In addition to that, articles coming out that Israel's conscription rule stokes ultra-Orthodox fury as they are now saying they're going to be doing a draft. And if you are even an Orthodox Jew that is trying to be studying the scriptures or priesthood, you still got to go to war. So that is happening with Israel. And right now there is chaos with this that's taking place. Now, in addition to that, listen to this. The Kremlin is sending migrants to go dig trenches for their war in occupied parts of Ukraine. What if the United States did that? We're hearing Russia is saying enlist all of the immigrants in the country. We're going to go send them to go support our war in.
My new book, Keyboard Rich, How Anyone Can Earn Six Figures from Home with a Simple
Gig. Do you think the United States should do that? Should we send our immigrants that have been entering in? We're hearing a lot of them coming in illegally. What if we sent them out for war? If you think that we should do that here in the United States, put a 1. If you think no, that is not okay, put a 2 in the comments. But we're hearing that's actually taking place in Russia right now. Now, in addition to that, speaking of Russia, listen to this. We're also hearing that recently in the debates, former President Donald Trump said that he will be able to end the war with Russia and Ukraine in a single day. Well, we got a response right now from Putin's UN ambassador, and he said, not a chance. He said that Trump might be making these claims, but there is no way we are too far into this war now. There is no way that former President Donald Trump's intervention will cause this war to end, that it is too far in. And as I mentioned, with that taking place, we're actually hearing that today. President Joe Biden has said that they're going to be sending an additional 2.3 billion across the seas to Ukraine to support them in the war that is taking place. So the United States is saying they are preparing for more war to take place. Now, in addition to that, also Israel, as we've heard, is going to be having an all-out declaration of war. We're just waiting for it to initiate between them and Lebanon. That is going to be taking place here very soon, and that is going to be taking the world to a new level of war, the likes of which we have not seen in quite some time. It'll be the highest level of war that we've seen in 2024. And we heard going into 2024 with all the conflicts taking place that 2024 was the year of war. Many are anticipating and fearing World War III is going to be taking place here. But that is happening with Israel. We're hearing Lebanon. Iran is going to get pulled into this. In addition to that, listen to this. This coming out in the last 24 hours, actually coming out today. Russia sends a warning to Israel. That is right. Russia, Vladimir Putin, is warning Israel.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim HaKadosh. I give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Knows in this gospel, broad looking at the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, wherever they may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. This guy goes by the name of Steve Ram. As we know that you have several preppers. Steve Ram, full spectrum survivor, Canadian prepper, New York City prepper. You got Redacted. You got a lot of these other Edomites, man, that they like go off the grid Edomites. That goes into these particular accounts of the election and World War III and all these other endeavors that's happening in the world, in which, you know, the prophets, you've heard it from us first, okay? Because we are actually bringing out these things in the scriptures, and we're filtering these things through the scriptures, okay? And we've been telling people for the longest that there were going to be a World War III, and there was going to be a draft because America, they don't have the necessary reserves in order to complete a full military roster, so to speak. I believe they said back during the time of World War II, I believe they had like something like, what, 750,000 reserves or something like that. That was up to recruit. I mean, not to recruit, but they had like a certain number of men on hand that they can call, or reserves that they can call to fight a war, to be deployed to certain regions in the world in case all hell breaks loose. Now they have a hard time meeting that number, which they lied and specified that last year they met. Well, technically, they're under. They didn't meet, but they lowered the number and made it seem like they met the quota, but they're completely under. I believe the goal was to get 75,000 recruits, but they only got 50,000. But they met the 50,000 mark, but originally 75,000, they missed that mark by 25%. Okay, and now they're saying that over 77% of the men here, or just people in general, are not eligible to join the military because they have criminal records, they're not mentally equipped, they have they're just not mentally or physically equipped. So this spells disaster for the West, because all in all, you got Russians, okay, you got the Koreans, you got the Chinese, okay, you got the Japanese, you got all these men are training to go to war, but yet you got a bunch of soy boys and momos in your military. Shit. Damn. Slocky, man. It's fucking gnats in here. But you got a bunch of soy boys that's clearly not eligible to fight this war, man. So this is the result of it, okay? And this is why we've been telling you that the United States military they're in big trouble, man. Okay, so down here, Slovakia, man, I had to kill this damn bug. Fuck, it was biting. But anyway, here you got articles, resources, and basically it says Russia sends migrants to dig trenches and occupy parts of Ukraine. Okay, now you have something which is called I think it's like a penal colony, and basically you have pretty much free, next to nothing slave labor, men in the prison system, okay, that work for pennies on a dollar, working all hours of the day just to not get anything in return. Like you got Alcatraz, you got Guantanamo Bay, you got, well, I wouldn't consider Cook County, even though Cook County is still a prison, but you got Stateville's penitentiary, you got all these particular penitentiaries in the United States that harbors prisoners. And I believe that they were speaking on that basically they're gonna start releasing some of these prisoners in jail to fight the war, and they're gonna have to do that because they are not meeting numbers. Okay, they're gonna have to start calling back those old vets, and they talking about from the age of 18 to 26. It's gonna go beyond that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna go beyond 18 to 26. That they're not gonna even remotely meet a third of the numbers with that age bracket. So they're gonna have to start at 7. And I mean, they can't technically start at 17, but shit, this is the war that end all wars, and this is the war that's gonna be the end of this man's kingdom. So hey, I won't be surprised if he recruit as young as 15, 16, and he may extend that shit up to 64, 65. Because I mean, look at it now. The retirement age is damn near 65 years old. And shit, the way it's talking, they gonna raise it again. You might not be able to retire till you're 72. So if they can have you working until you drop dead, it's no surprise that they can extend the military age limit to in the upper 50s and 60s, man. Okay, in certain countries, they got young men, like in Afghanistan, you got 12, 13-year-old kids out there shooting shit, blowing things up, doing what they have to do in order to keep their quote-unquote country safe. So I can very well see them doing that. And that would be a good thing. Esau, get them niggas in jail, get them Edomites in jail, okay, and then get these gangbangers, get these kill boys, get these little, these little hood ninjas, these little hood boogers, your Relly Rails and Pookies and Ray Rays and Kevos and Munchies and Lowskis. Get them niggas, man, and send them to war. Because what else are they doing? They're not doing nothing else but destroying their community. So yeah, get them guys, man. And it doesn't surprise me if he do recruit from prison. He may say, well, look, if you want to get 10 years off your sentence, go fight this war, not knowing that you ain't gonna have nothing to come back to, So I looked up here a penal colony, and it says a penal colony distant or overseas settlement established for punishing criminals by forced labor and isolation from society. It says, although a score of nations in Europe and Latin America transported their criminals to widely scattered penal colonies, such as colonies were developed mostly by English, French, and Russians. Okay, so a penal colony was an example, right? New South Wales colony was an official penal colony when the population consists of mostly convicts. So basically they lock your ass up. It's like when you look at that movie Life. Basically Life, when they lock their ass up, they basically put them on a damn plantation. You know, I mean, which is a prison yard. Same goddamn thing. You know, involuntarily servitude. So basically they put them to work for next to nothing. So it doesn't make, I mean, it makes a lot of sense in my opinion that Esau Edom would, you know, he would start the prison population because, I mean, let's face it, that's what he should do. All right? They're not doing nothing else with their time, so send them niggas to fight the war, you know? But anyway, let's get a couple of precepts here. It's lucky I was doing two things at once, so I was a little distracted. But anyway, let's get the book of Joel 2, and let's start at verses 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, like all the inhabitants of the land tremble. Okay, for the day of the Lord is at hand, for it cometh nigh, and the day of the Lord is a World War III. Okay, no other than World War III, the war of Armageddon, or the war to end all wars. Okay, and we're at the end of Esau's kingdom. So this is why he's in desperation mode now to get the numbers, because nobody's eligible. Okay, he's giving women all these rights. He's allowed men to get their privy members chopped off and become women, and vice versa. So therefore you have a society of weak-minded individuals. Okay, the women are totally masculine as all hell, which that's all a fucking act of facade, you know. And then the men are all feminine. You can't tell them shit, you know. They don't. It's a shit show. And America is the laughing stock of the goddamn world, you know, and deservingly so. And it says here, it says, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There have never been ever the like, neither should be any more after it, even into the years of many generations. Meaning that this is going to be the war that finally end all wars, man. All right. So with that being said, looking at some of these articles here, which this is an old one. It says U.S. military base. Well, this is relatively new. U.S. military bases threat level elevated due to potential attack threats. U.S. military draft bill passed in House. Okay, which it's passed, but technically it's not official yet. And when they make it law, or when they make it become law, then that is what it is. And the way that they're trying to do it is by sneaking it in there. So therefore, they can just already have you registered, and they can just say, well, look, we need you to come fight this war. No ifs, ands, or buts. And if you decide to not comply, then they'll lock you up and hit you with all kinds of fines, man, and possibly execute you, you know. So this is an old article, came out June 15. House passes bills to automatically register young men for draft. And it's going to be more than the young men. It's going to be equated to men, women, older men, you know. Because honestly speaking, who else is going to fight for this devil? All right. But anyway, it says, a fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burneth, and the land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, and nothing should escape, because the scriptures describe this event as like the horizon, like the sun coming over the horizon. But instead, when you look up, those are going to be them ICBMs depleting America, man. Okay, because one thing about it, he's offering people up to like $50,000 to $60,000 or maybe $75,000 to join his military, and he's not giving it to you up front. I think he's gonna pay it over a course of time. But even then, it's like, how the hell are you gonna spend the money? Where you gonna go back and spend it? Because the West is gonna be totally wiped out. Okay, there's not gonna be any land here. I mean, it's gonna be straight desert. There ain't gonna be any homes. There ain't gonna be any convenience stores, no gas stations, no vehicles. Everything is going to be totally obliterated by nuclear missiles. Okay, even the oceans and the lakes are going to be dried up over here. Okay, like Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie. Okay, the 5 Great Lakes, those are going to all be deserts, man, because the Lord said he was going to dry up the pools and the rivers and so forth. Okay, so even if they do get that money, they ain't going to have no place to spend it, because they're going to die over there in what they call the Middle East, which is Western Asia. Okay. So Revelation 16, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses 12. It says, "And the 6th angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And this is talking about World War III. It says, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. It says, for they are the spirit of devils working miracles, which go forth into the kings of the earth. And it says, of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great power Almighty. Okay, and what's that? It's talking about the war of Armageddon, World War III, or the war to end all wars, man. You see? So yeah, man, we're on the cusp of World War III. Technically it started, but it won't go nuclear until this economic collapse comes and until the MOTV is instituted. And that's when the nations are going to be like, the hell with some goddamn America. Because nations are fed up with this place. You know, and also I was reading that the small hats, the Orthodox small hats, they're basically complaining when it's entitled kick, because for the simple fact, they feel like, well, this is against our religious freedoms. We ain't got to fight the war. What you mean you ain't fighting the war? Your fucking people started the goddamn war. You started, so nigga, you finish it. And if anything, I recruit all you small hats. You started. The world is in turmoil because of the small hats, because of Amalek, Esau. That's why the world is all fucked up, because you devils. So now you're trying to redact out of it and use your entitlement card, claiming to be us and you not. You know, like the elites, they're not sending their kids to die in this war. You think fucking the congressmen and the men of the great of the papacy, and you got the British Parliament. You think those elites, or those lower level elites, are sending their fucking kids to fight they Ivy League kids to fight in these schools in this war? Hell no. That's for you tax-paying folks. And I say y'all because, hey, Yahweh Shemi Hawashai is going to shield us from that. Okay, you people are going to war because that's your judgment. You know? So, hey, we ain't worried about it. Neither way they do send us a letter, hey, that shit getting tore up. Hey, I never got it. But we ain't worried about it. But anyway, this is the book of Joel 3, and I'm going to start at verses 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles and prepare war. And those Gentiles are talking about you heathens. It says, prepare war and wake up the mighty men, and let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. And this is where we're at in prophecy, and this is the reason why articles like this is manifesting. Okay, it says here, the U.S. announces $2.3 billion in military assistance to Ukraine and additional support. So more support to Ukraine. You know. So yeah. That's the straw that broke the camel's back, especially with that October 7 ordeal. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathens, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. And let the heathen be awakened, which is you other nations, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is in what they consider the Middle East. For there I would sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord is setting you up for the big battle royal. Okay, he's getting all these nations together just so he can be justified on destroying them. Because what happens is, once Yahushua comes back, these other nations are going to turn their focus from each other and focus on the Lord. Okay, so they're going to all form an alliance to destroy Yahushua, which is going to be a very futile attempt, because it's not going to be a battle. The Lord is going to decimate you like that. But it reads, it says, put ye in a sickle, for the harvest is ripe. But come and get ye down, the press is full, and the fats overflow, for that wickedness is great. But multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near, in the valley of decision. And the valley of decision is nothing more than the Middle Eastern region where you're going to fight. Okay, and the Lord is going to end your ass, man, and put the residue of you, the remnant of you in slavery. But it says, the sun and the moon should be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And the Lord also shall war out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But Yahweh will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Okay, so this is where we're at, man. We're getting ready to meet our Lord finally. But with that, all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Shemi Hawashai. The Lord's will, you will edify until the next lesson. Shalom.